Hello everyone and welcome to the Grip Locked preview for round 4 of the Disc Golf World Championships. We're back at Ivy for the final 2 days. We're standing on the green of 17 here, which could be a pivotal hole when it's all said and done. This green behind us is extremely tight, but it's also a great example of the type of control Isaac Robinson has showed us so far. Because when he gets to this hole, his decision during the second round out here was just flippy putter, go for the big part of the green, pitch across, tap out, and those type of decisions he's making left and right, and that's what's going to make him hard to be chased down out here. He's sitting at 26 under par. Joseph Anderson is 4 strokes back at 22. You have Nicolas Antela at 20. Then there's a three-way tie between Luke Taylor, Calvin Heimberg, and Simon Lizotte at 18. That three-way tie, though, is 8 strokes out already when you get down to there. What that means for this field is Isaac Robinson's in a position that he can play smart and safe, still score out here, but he's not going to have to do anything crazy, and he's going to force the rest of the field to get crazy. Is it possible out here? Absolutely, but there's OB everywhere, meaning the more aggressive you are, the bigger risk there is, which also could pay off with a bigger reward. It's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, I think we've gotten to the point now with just 2 rounds to play at this course, especially with the predictable weather we've had, where it's, this is Isaac's tournament right now. He is in complete control. It's going to take a very big hiccup from him, I think, to relinquish that control. And, we've talked on and on, as we've moved through the tournament, there's still lots of golf left, And there still is. There's still 2 entire rounds of golf. But at this point, I'd like to think that it's going to take something very significant from the back of the pack. And we've just now seen 3 consecutive rounds where we're looking for those big names in the pack to make a huge move. Calvin tried to early yesterday, wasn't able to. And we're kind of just seeing this proof that nobody is able to play either of these courses aggressively enough for the entire round to rattle off that huge round. Like, we still haven't seen that since the first round, really, when Isaac and AB had those 11 unders. We haven't seen that humongous pushing round to really put some pressure on Isaac. I think right now he's in cruise control. His game looks so confident at the moment. We've talked about where that line is, who can get back into this. And now as we get into round 4, I'm starting to think it might be 20 under. Like, the guys there's a lot of really good players 8 shots back, but that's 8 strokes you have to make up out here. And I'd like to think you're going to have to make up at least 4 or 5 of them today if you want to have a chance tomorrow. And it's, all eyes on that lead card right now to see if anybody can apply some pressure.
Absolutely. As we look at Isaac Robinson, he tied for technically the 6th hot round yesterday, but it was 2 strokes off the hot round at 7 under. He did have his first 2 bogeys. He finally faced some of that adversity. He still leads the bogey rate for the whole event at only 4%. 2 out of the 54 holes played have been bogeys for him, and his scrambling continues to be on fire as he leads the field at 92%. So he, all around, has just been very much in control out here, and, that was kind of the story. Really the only question mark was going into day 2, would he play Ivy as well as he played New London? He did. So now it's just the question mark, will he have a collapse? The one thing is, even with that 7 under round, which was 2 off of the hot, it would have been 4 off of day 1's hot. He's been around the hot round every single day. Yeah. That's the one thing we haven't seen, is with 5 rounds of golf, it isn't unlikely for him to have one slip-up round. He looks laser-focused. He looks dialed. But in my opinion, that's what it's going to take, is especially to get some of those 18 under people you were just talking about. And there's a lot of big names there. Yeah, Chase card today, actually. Let me pull that up. I believe it's Calvin Heimberg, Simon Lizotte, Ian McMahon, and then Sullivan Tipton. And Ricky Wysocki is actually tied with Sullivan Tipton at 17 under. I think Ricky's probably where I would draw the line. He's technically at 17 under, but I just think Ricky is capable of firing off 2 crazy rounds. But at that point, I'm just refusing to write Ricky off just because it's Ricky Wysocki. Anyone else at 17 under, score-wise, you're just so far back.
It's just crazy. We haven't seen it yet. I've just been waiting. If you've watched the Pro Tour all year, you at some point see somebody from the back make a huge push. And like I said, early in the day yesterday, we thought we were starting to see that out of a few players, but it just falls off. And, you start to wonder if it's possible. Now, this will be their players' second attempt playing this course. Obviously, they'll have their final attempt tomorrow. So we'll see if there's any adjustments made. Maybe there are certainly some players who will probably know where they may have, crucial speed bumps during their first round here. I'm curious to see if any strategies change. But, yeah, at this point, I just don't know. Isaac, I think because we're playing 2 courses that are new to so much of the field, I think that plays so much into Isaac's hands because he is just a guy that is sticking to his strategy and having great command of the disc right now. And yeah, when you play that way and get the lead early, even if these other players have now had time to adjust their strategy, you have such a big lead at this point that you're pushing a pace, you're forcing a pace upon them that is going to be impossible to keep up without making a mistake. Somebody's going to have to play perfect golf because realistically, maybe we see it's kind of like yesterday where it's like, yeah, maybe we see a 6, 7, 8 under from Isaac, nothing crazy, but nothing flashy, but solid. But then somebody's going to have to shoot one of those crazy 13 unders that I just don't think is possible out here with all the OB. It's going to take something crazy, and then that's just to get yourself back into it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible, but it's extremely unlikely. It's extremely, because that really does. What's tough about it is you're going to go OB if you're playing that aggressive, which these players know, right? But what I'm seeing out of Isaac is just he pretty much the success was all in the preparation for him. He came out here with a game plan of he knew where he was attacking, he knew where he was laying up, and his angle control, the last time I saw it like this was Champions Cup. And at that, he ran away like crazy. I'm getting a feeling that could be what we're in for today and tomorrow. It could be one of those situations where, sure, he's 2 strokes off of Hot again, but Hot was from 4th card, and it did nothing to his lead. He actually extended his lead. I'm getting that sense. I'm also getting a feeling this is going to be a classic Ricky Calvin finish where they're going to get themselves possibly close to the podium. We might have a Ricky Wysocki in 2nd place when it's all said and done, but he never gets close to where he's actually pushing the lead. That's kind of what I'm feeling, because being Ricky's 9 strokes out, Calvin's 8 strokes out, they're in a position where they can push the podium, right? But pushing Isaac is just going to be so difficult, and that's all props to Isaac. I mean, he's the reigning world champion, and he has an opportunity, if he plays solid these next 2 days, to add his name to the list of Barry Schultz, Ken Climo, Paul McBeth, Ricky Wysocki as the only players to repeat a world championship. That is a top of the top Hall of Fame list to add your name to, and it's a huge year for him being a contract year. A year where, is he looking to switch manufacturers? Is he just looking for a really good negotiating chip with Prodigy? All of that sounds a lot better if he's the reigning world champion instead of the world champion a year and a half ago.
It is seriously his tournament to lose at this point. The one thing I'm still waiting to see is if he'll ever start out one of these rounds slow and see what that does to his morale. Obviously, I think hole 1 is a pretty easy birdie. Hole 1 and 2 are both very gettable for everybody. Well, and 3 realistically.
And 3. It sets up for you to get out the gates hot.
Right. So I think that helps because then, with Isaac, he's able to play the next stretch of holes very safe for par and not really lose much to the field. So I think this course really does set up well for him. And it's just when you have a player who's now put together so many good rounds in a row and looks so invincible, it's very hard to believe that he's going to slip up. But that's what it's going to take. It's going to take a round where Isaac comes in at, it's possible. This course is tough. There's always the possibility that he could come out, shoot 2, 3 under. A lot of the leaders shoot better rounds and push, and all of a sudden tomorrow, we're looking at a jumbled up leaderboard at the top. That absolutely could happen, and that would be fascinating to see.
Well, let's play the devil's advocate a little bit, right? Because we're talking very much of this is Isaac's tournament.
Yeah,
this can go the other way very quickly because when we were watching him out here, he's throwing a lot of controlled hyzer flips. That what was happening the first time he played out here, it was generating not a lot of skips.
Yeah.
If the wind picks up, which I just checked, it's supposed to be 2 to 3 miles an hour today, basically non-existent. Gusts of 8 to 9, basically non-existent. But if anything were to happen where those discs come in with a little bit more pace than he wants, or a little bit more angle, because there were several times where everyone else's disc was skipping out, but because he had played such a flex, he was getting the soft landing. Props to Isaac because that's exactly what you have to be doing. If that were to change, a few skips don't go his way. I also, heard from someone watching Gannon Burr's card where Gannon on day 1 had some fantastic shots into these greens that just, for a lot of players were sticking. For Gannon, we're rolling, 70, 80 feet.
To be
Stuff
fair,
like that can happen very quick out here. I think that is definitely, the door is not closed by any means. There is still 36 holes of golf to play. It's just if Isaac plays the way he has been, that's what we're talking about. But with all of the OB, with these crazy greens and the mental battle you kind of go through out here to keep laser focused, to keep in there, all it takes is one slip and you can be looking at a double, triple bogey. And I think that's the type of momentum swing that a Joey Buckets, a Nick Angela, a Ricky, a Calvin, Simon, those guys need to see, is they need to see him slip. Yeah. And if they see him slip, they capitalize. I mean, that's what happened at Idlewild, out of nowhere. he was playing good, and when he was playing bad, he was getting good kicks. Out of nowhere, he got a bad kick, had a really rough 3-hole stretch, and now he's the one behind.
Yeah.
It can happen very quick. It doesn't feel like it's going to, but it definitely can.
Well, I think the key is they need to play. They need to know now that their best stuff, the hero rounds, they're not going to put together back-to-back 13 unders. That's not going to happen. So right now, if you're somebody like Ricky, Simon, Eagle, somebody that's kind of lurking behind Calvin, you need to be thinking, okay, let me go out and try to shoot back-to-back 8 unders, good rounds out here, nothing miraculous. And then if Isaac slips up, I'm right there on the doorstep waiting for him, because you cannot play to try and just catch him when he's playing well. You have to play solid rounds, not get too crazy, take your chances when you can, and then hope that Isaac gives up a little ground.
Well, because if you look at it this way, right, if they do that, the back-to-back 8 unders, which from Simon, for instance, doesn't seem crazy, right? So that's 16 under.
32 under.
All that takes for Isaac now is if he goes back-to-back 4 unders, which also doesn't sound that crazy, there it is. There's the strokes. So the road there is not wild, but it all is dependent on Isaac. And I think that's what the players have gotten themselves into, is their game is now reliant on someone else messing up, which is never where you want to be. Yeah. You want to be in full control. The problem out here is the more full control you try to take, the more you try to push, a lot of times the more you're going to slip. So it's going to be a really exciting day of golf, especially today, because I think today is going to be the more aggressive day for a lot of players who are going to try to get there, and someone's going to get hot. If it's the right player, it can make things very interesting, but things are going to happen. Things are going to shake up out here. It's just, will it be a battle for who's coming in second, or will someone actually be able to push Isaac for that lead? It's all going to go down out here. If you live anywhere close to the area, get your butt out here and watch some disc golf. If you live at home, that's fine too, wherever home may be. Go over to the DGN, the discgolfnetwork.com, use code FDG10, get yourself 10% off your first month of standard or pro, or use code FDG20 if you sign up for that annual membership and get yourself 20% off, and you support the show in doing that as well. So thank you to everyone who's already used it, and thank you to everyone who's about to use it. Got a beautiful day of disc golf ahead. We'll talk to you again tomorrow about whatever goes down today.